And just you can build showcase a Buffalon team. So I would love to, but the thing is I don't have a Buffalon. Yeah, they don't spawn where I live, unfortunately. Aggron? What? Oh man. Hey everyone, I hope you've been enjoying the Ultra League rotation, sometimes also known as the XL rotation. Most of the bans for Ultra League Remix were fairly similar, although I did notice that Venusaur did get banned this time around, so I decided to give the Samurott and Double Flyer team a try again. This is a team that came out with last season, also a team that Jonkus actually came out with a little bit before me too. So a little different strategies and a little different movesets, but the same team comp as well. I did make a change in this team, and before I ran Snarl Mana Buzz with Dark Pulse, I decided to switch that to Air Slash Mana Buzz with Foul Play. The Snarl Mana Buzz definitely has a lot more play against the Steel types, especially G-Fist. You actually could win that on even shields. However, my thought process is usually the Pidgeot safe swap will draw out the Steel types, and this gives me a little bit better coverage against the fighter leads, especially because that way I can pivot easily out to my Pidgeot for that. Using this team, I was actually able to go on a 13-2 run with this team. I obviously played some additional sets after that, and I wasn't able to maintain such the high win rate, but I wanted to showcase the 15 battles I used with this team on that stretch of wins and show off some new matchups that we didn't really see last time around. Before I get into battles, a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would also like to have early access to some of my strategies and lineups, or see behind the scenes footage from my battles, feel free to sign up in the Patreon link down below. Against a Nidoqueen in the lead. So for the most part, this is a fairly solid lead for Samurott. You are doing resisted damage with the Fury Cutters, and my opponent actually safe swaps to a Trevenant. Now, Trevenant was not around last time around, so even though I said that Venusaur is banned this time, it wasn't last time, it was pretty much replaced by Trevenant, although you have much better matchups against Trevenant with Pidgeot and Mana Buzz in the back, whereas Venusaur was still able to do quite a bit of neutral damage with Sludge Bombs. But anytime you can farm down a Trevenant, that's a really good spot to be in. I'm able to debuff this Nidoqueen, and then now I go for the hard-hitting Brave Bird, and they double shield here, so that's actually pretty solid for me. And I'm going to just build up to a Hydro Cannon here, and they do throw a Poison Fang right away. And then they come in with the Poliwrath. This is a pretty solid spot for my Mana Buzz, even though it's taking neutral from all these moves, or super effective if they're running Ice Punch. Mana Buzz is super bulky. Again, like I mentioned the last time around when I ran this team, if you don't have a Mana Buzz, I recommend you replace it with Gyarados, Skarmory, Crobat. Those are all viable options. Obviously, they're not the exact same, but especially this time around. Last time around, I was running Snarl, so it kind of helped out a lot of those matchups. But when you're running Air Slash, all the other flyers are also very similar in coverage too. All right. Magnezone. This is one that I don't think I saw last time around. A super tough lead because it beats the whole thing. But again, those safe swap Trevenants, you can really farm those down. Also, if you don't have a Pidgeot, I highly recommend you build one if you have like a 100% Pidgey and grind the XL candies for it. It is definitely one of the easier XLs to make just because Pidgeys are much more common, and especially right now when you get the guaranteed XLs from trades with anyone, definitely worth grinding for. If you don't have the 100%, obviously I understand that, or maybe you don't have the elite TM for the Gust. But again, you can replace the Pidgeot with one of the other flyers I mentioned earlier. You just don't have the same kind of debuff opportunities there. So I'm going to let this Surfetch go through, and they either Brave Bird me here or something else, and it's actually Night Slash. So we saw the Leaf Blade already. We see the Night Slash. They can't do anything that's non-resistant against the Mana Buzz, so I'm going to farm it all the way down. And again, these Foul Plays are doing neutral to the Steel, so it's actually not too bad for my Mana Buzz, and with that energy advantage, able to finish it off. So despite running into Magnezone that could beat the whole team, or has play against everything on the team, able to still kind of make it work. Okay, so this is not great. Regirock is going to do a lot more damage to the Stone Edges than the Rock Slice from G-Fisk. And yeah, so I decided not even to try to go for a debuff because I'm still going to take a lot of damage from this Regirock as well on my Samurott. And then we do CMP there, or maybe a pseudo CMP. And then they come in with the Trev. I do catch a move here. That's actually pretty big. My guess is they have another Trev counter check in the back, which, again, is a G-Fist. So they're running double tanks here, double anti-flyers, which is pretty bad against my double flyer backline. And I have ran a Samurott into Trevenant, which is probably one of the worst possible leads I could have in this meta. So, doing everything I can here. Able to catch a Rock Slide here too. So, able to catch a C-Bomb, able to catch a Rock Slide. You know, doing whatever I can to kind of make this work. Let's see if we could do it or not. They still have 2 shields. So, I'm going to know shield here is going to be a Shadow Ball. Rock Slide's obviously going to do a little bit more. And I decided to go for a Hydro Cannon there. Going for the potential debuff of Razor Shell just not really worth it. Especially if you don't get the debuff. But also, you're still going to take a decent amount of damage from those Shadow Balls. As you can see, at this health range, you kind of need all the health you can get on the Mana Buzz. So I decided to just go for the Hydro Cannon. And as you see, I pretty much got almost up to 100 energy anyway off of that. Now, we unfortunately don't get to the next foul play. Now, if I was running Snarl there, I would have actually won that because it would have done much better against the G-Fist, but it's a trade-off. I find that a lot of times when I don't have Snarl, I miss it, and when I do have Snarl, I wish I had Air Slash. So that was one of the first losses, but, you know, very tough team and still kept it super close, so I can't really be mad about that. All right, so this one's running Ice Beam. I actually really like going against Ice Beam Jellicents because they make them really predictable. You know exactly what to shield, and you could still tank an Ice Beam on both flyers. And so they are severely weak to Pidgeot as well as Mana Buzz there. It's Air Slash Mana Buzz. So they're going to see the match right there. They didn't really have any checks for either of them. And having both puts me in a really good spot. All right. Snorlax leads. I like to just drop the Hydro Cannon and just dip out. You have pretty solid Snorlax checks in the back with the 2 flyers. They actually come in a Gengar here, which is kind of odd. So I'm going to shield the Sludge Bomb because it's doing pretty much no damage to the Shadow Claws. So there's really no need for me to, not shield there. But I can farm down comfortably. I'm going to go for a Brave Bird as well. And then they also no-shield their Lugia. And then this is probably an Aeroblast, so I do shield it. And then here comes a Snorlax. I'm going to throw a Razor Shell here because they're so low on health. They probably pretty much have to shield something. And they get a defense drop, which is huge. And then now I'm in a very solid position. These resisted licks are just not going to do much at all. And the Bite Slams are going to add up for sure. But I should be okay here. And yeah, they no shields. I am going to throw another foul play. They pretty much have to throw an Aeroblast to take me out here. But I don't think they're going to be able to get to it. And yeah, able to finish it off. Lugia is spicy though. I do think it's a pretty interesting pick for this meta. All right. Against fighters. So this is why I had the double flying fast move flyers in the back. Just really for the Scrafty lead. Scrafty is not the best for Samurott, and you know, if I stayed in there and took it out, I'd be screwed against the G-Fist. So what I like to do is go straight Feather Dance. I don't know if I played out last time the same way. You could reference my video and check, but what I found is this way you don't have to really worry about the earthquakes that this G-Fist throws. Quadruple debuffed, as you can see, is not that scary. And they could pivot out and save the health on the G-Fist, but then they force themselves into a matchup against Mana Buzz with their Scrafty. I'm going to throw this Hydro Cannon to really wear down the Scrafty or take a shield. And they decide to just tank it, and they actually have a Jellicent in the back. So this is going to be pretty solid for the most part, but again, without Snarl, it's not as easy as it used to be. And these Bubble Beams actually get a little bit annoying, not going to lie. Again, I probably prefer the Ice Beam variant because I know exactly what to shield. They can't really bait me with anything. Here, it's kind of weird for me to shield anything. I am going to, swap over here. Unfortunately, I shield the Power Punch. Let's see if they're counting here, and they do actually end up getting shield baited there with the Razor Shell. And now I have my move ready on the Mana Buzz, and hopefully this is enough, especially with the defensive debuff, and it is. So that's actually pretty big. Now, what I realize here is they're probably going for a timeout victory, so I need to start shielding this Mana Buzz, even if it's just Bubble Beam, and it is. A little bit scared because they can hit me with the Shadow Ball. It's going to do a lot more damage than Bubble Beam. It's not as energy efficient, but if you need a harder hitting move, it's the way to go. Luckily, we CMP there. Otherwise, would have lost even despite the positive matchup in the back. So, super close one. And well played by my opponent as well. Okay, so again, Nidoqueen, not too bad. It's really up to you if you want to go Hydro Cannon or Razor Shell. I think Hydro Cannon is a little bit safer because Razor Shell doesn't KO it, and not it does a Hydro Cannon, but it puts it low enough. And again, these resist of fear cards aren't really doing too much, so even if you land a Razor Shell, it's not going to be great. And then so they come in with their own Samurott. Kind of interesting. So I'm going to go straight for the Brave Bird. They have no shields. I'm going to no shield the Pidgeot as well because I don't really know what they have in the back. They come back in with the Nidoqueen, and that's fine. They do farm me down here. I'm going to try spam the Hydro Cannon and catch them off guard. And I believe we're still locked in here, so that's why they couldn't even switch out if they want to. And then we get a little lag here. It's going to be a Toxicroak. This is going to be a really solid matchup for me, and they are going to concede the match right there. All right, Poliwrath. It's actually a really disastrous lead for Samurott. It resists the fast move. It resists all the charge moves. Yeah, it's just not a great time. So I'm going to go straight for the Brave Bird here. This is kind of a gamble, but I think it's worth it, and it surely is. That's the thing with Pidgeot these days, because Feather Dance and Brave Bird the Pidgeot reaches it at the same time on the first time around. You know, it makes it kind of difficult for your opponents to predict. So it's kind of a gamble sometimes, but it's a gamble on their end as well. Yeah, now they swap over. I have the switch advantage I want. This one is running Ice Punch, but Ice Punch is just not the best move, especially without Stab on Poliwrath. So I could easily just tank these, save my shields for the Crobat, and start throwing these moves here. Crobat again has to just throw Poison Fang here because Shadow Ball is resisted. So I have no concern of shielding. I'm going to swap out here, and they're going to concede the match right there. Machamp. Again, fighters aren't the greatest for this line, especially in the lead, which is why I decided to put on the Air Slash on the Mandibuzz. And then here comes a Typhlosion. I did go straight for the Brave Bird, and we land it. Again, sometimes it does pay off. Usually, it's probably safe to go Feather Dance, but the difference there is that because I already took some damage, it's much harder to go Feather Dance. If they counter swap you there with the Typhlosion, you could go straight Feather Dance, and you're fine because you could tank Blast Burn. They Gengar on the back, and that's GG's. All right, Abomasnow. This is something that I didn't showcase in the last time around because I think I only faced one after I released the video, but this is actually a really solid matchup for Samurott. Even when they're not shielding what potentially could be Mega Horns, but my opponents are not. Because you just shield their energy balls, and very few Abomasnows, if any, will ever decide to go Weather Ball bait there. And this opponent just isn't shielding anything, I guess. And I'm going to go for a potential Brave Bird, but let's see if they shield or not. And they still don't shield. I'm a little scared it's like another Charmer in the back, and they're saving for 2 shield Charmers, but we shall see. Fairy is going to resist all these Fury Cutters, so it's good for energy purposes on my end, but I also take a lot of damage in return. They come in with a Abomasnow. I probably could have farmed that down, but this is a very spicy team. A Shadow Dusknoir. I'm kind of glad this one's in the league because I don't have graphics for this thing. But I'm just going to spam away my moves, grab the shield, do as much damage as possible. Mandibuzz can definitely clean this up, but just want to grab the shields first. They might concede after this because it's just such a bad matchup for them, and they are. All right, Excadrill, the budget G-Fist pick. Still really solid, but definitely a lot classier. You could tank these moves pretty comfortably. I go for a Razor Shell here because I figure they're probably going to shield. And then I'm going to go for a Hydro Cannon here. They actually swap in Trev. So, again, we love to see Trevenants easy to farm down. I decided to come with Mandibuzz here because Mandibuzz's foul plays are still going to hurt this Excadrill. So, I think the energy here is a little bit more useful for when they come back in with Excadrill. But they might not even come back with Excadrill because of all this energy, and that's also fine with me too. Have a shield advantage as well, which is quite nice. And they do come with Excadrill, so this is good. These foul plays are going to add up. Really great swap by my opponent there to catch the foul play on their Heracross. Also very spicy, but Heracross is not going to be able to survive these Gus. And then I decided no shield because I know I survived there anyway, and the Mud Shots aren't really going to do anything, so I don't really need to worry about it because Rock Slide's still going to KO me, even if I... even if I probably shielded the previous Rock Blast. All right. They counter swap Machamp here. This is really solid, mainly because I could just gust it all the way down, and I decided to double shield. Maybe not the best play on my end. I could have also came in Mana Buzz, which might have been a little bit better, but I don't know. Let's see how this plays out. I figured debuffs would be kind of nice here, so I do go for double debuffs here, and then I could probably go for a Brave Bird next. I believe I survived this Rock Slide unless you just throw 2 back to back. And we do get the Brave Bird off. That's actually pretty big. G-Fist is super low at this point. They have to throw the energy. I have down 2 shields, but I'm up almost 2 Pokemon. And it's a Gengar, so this is actually really solid. Yeah, I guess I'm trying to think what makes more sense there. I think if I brought... Yeah, I think it would have been fine either way if I saved the Pidgeot for the back end. I think the safer play would have probably been to bring the Mana Buzz into the Machamp, because I could tank their charge moves much more easily. Alright, so my opponent does stay in here, and then I am going to go for a Razor Shell. Not sure if this is enough, but it puts it quite low, and then I go for another Razor Shell. Again, just a little bit less energy, but able to finish off the G-Fizz, and they concede because their Gengar was way too low in health. Alright, Lapras. Another one that I don't think I really showcased in the last video. If I did, maybe just one battle. But this one's going straight Surf. They're not even trying to go for the Skull Bash, which is fine. I don't really have anything super effective or neutral for the Lapras besides my Fury Cutter, which is neutral, which does very little damage. So, usually the play here is take out the Lapras at all costs. Go for debuffs, go for Hydro Cannons, mix it up a little bit if you want. Now that they're double debuffed, this Hydro Cannon will do a lot of damage, and they don't shield it. So at this point, I feel pretty comfortable. I knew that I could still live a Surf too, and now they have minimal farm, and they come in with Gengar. I come in Mana Buzz here, and then they come in with a Crobat, which is a little bit more neutral for my line, but that Gengar has really nowhere to go at this point. And yeah, able to probably finish off this Crobat pretty soon. They're still staying here. I'm going to clear the debuffs after this Poison Fang probably. Yep, that's exactly what I do. And then now I could Gust all the way down. They concede right there. Okay, Scrafty. Again, you just safe swap the Pidgeot. And here comes the Unova Stunfisk. Yeah, this is a little bad. Because they get to his discharges pretty quickly. I'm going to do a similar play. But the unfortunate part here is that the Unova Stunfisk could do super effective against my Samurott, whereas the G-Fizz can only do neutral. So even though I double debuff this thing, the discharges are probably going to hurt a little bit more than the Earthquakes did. And who knows if they stay in or not. They might pivot out, which is also a little bit scary. And they do pivot out. Pivot out to a Drapion. Maybe I should have been a little bit less hasty on the swap. Because... yeah, I do tank the Sludge Bomb here, because the Samurott actually has a decent amount of play against the Drapion as well. You're doing neutral with the Fury Cutter and neutral with the Hydro Cannons, and they could go Crunch or Sludge Bomb. But I kind of need this Mana Buzz for the Scrafty, so that's where I kind of messed up here. And I do swap over here. I'm going to shield because this charge is probably going to hit a little bit harder than that Foul Play would. And let's see if they shield or not here. And they do shield. Smart shield by them. I probably could have gone Razor Shell there. I don't know if it makes a huge difference because it doesn't KO anyway. Yeah, I think at this point I go Hydro Cannon again just to secure the KO. And I might get to this Hydro Cannon even if it's Power Punch. But the problem is my Mana Buzz is not at an Aerial-Ace. And that would be needed to take out the Scrafty, and they do finish me off here. So that is our second loss. Really well played by my opponent there. Unova Stunfisk is pretty spicy, I think. All right, so we're going against another Scrafty. Let's see how this plays out. So they actually have... whoa, is this a similar team comp? They also have a Drapion on the back too. Kind of interesting. I'm going to go for a Brave Bird, see what happens. So I'm playing some mind games here. Main thing is... a lot of people will shield the first charge move if they're going for Feather Dance because you want it to be debuffed in the future. But I decided to shield and still go for the heavy hitting move, just to kind of maybe throw them off there. So not the same team, thankfully, because that, because the Stunfisk would have been kind of annoying. I do go for a Razor Shell here, trying to fish for a debuff or a shield. And we do get a shield. And then do we catch? Yes, we do catch a foul play there too, which is pretty big. And then, yeah, they go straight Power Punch. I'm going to just farm up a bunch of energy here. I don't really have to shield any of the first Power Punches. Maybe the third, maybe the fourth. Either way. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. And then they do a great catch to catch an Aerial Ace there. But that actually just gives me a little bit more farm on my Samurott, which is kind of nice. And now I'm going to go for the Hydro Cannon to finish off the Scrafty. Hope you enjoyed the team. Again, Samurott is super fun to use in Ultra League. Just in general, it was definitely something I created initially because just for kicks and laughs, but it actually ended up working out quite well for me last season, and it's been working pretty well for me this season too. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, feel free to give it a like and share. If you dislike it, let me know why in the comments down below. Give me that feedback, just because again, I can't really see the dislikes anymore on my videos, so it's kind of hard to gauge how people feel about the content. If you want to see more content, feel free to subscribe, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.